Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome into Accountability Conversations with Aadfedbea. All right. Um, so this is literally just going to be that. It's just going to be a conversation. It's not so much of the educational moments, like I do have that as well, those videos, that content. And some of the things that we talk about in these conversations may be correlated to those lessons, okay? So both will be helpful for you if you resonate with this conversation. But I want to create this space just to be able to give you guys real life examples, stories of mine, right? So that you understand how it is I applied all of the things that I teach others, how to do to be able to obtain what I want, the life I want, and how I want it. Okay. So today I want to have a conversation with you guys about um, a mixture of how it is that I have manifested the types of people and relationships that I want in my life. Okay. Now these can be relationships of any type. When I ask for these things, this applies for my husband, my friends, the people that I work alongside, any person that I'm giving space in my life, to be there. I value what they bring, they value what I offer, right? These were some bottom line things, right, that I was very firm on, okay? One, I wanted every person in my life to be confident, very self confident, very self assured, right? I want them to love themselves unconditionally, however that looks for them. I want them to be a person that will prioritize themselves. I want them to be a person that will always be okay with, saying what it is that they need or asking for whatever because they know they deserve it. I want confident people in my life. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care why we are connected. I need you to be confident. Okay. Number two, I wanted people who lived in energy of accountability and truth always. I want only people around me who are okay with living their truth, even at times when they may know that, okay, people may not agree with who I am or how I think about things or how I go about certain situations, right? But I'm still, you know what I'm saying, me. I'm still gonna do what I do. That is my truth. That's what makes me feel okay, right? I love people that live in their truth. I love people that tell me the truth about everything. Now, it doesn't mean that they have to tell me every single thing, right? But that in which they do open their mouths to say to me, even the smallest things, hey, I'm gonna do this for you. Hey, I'm gonna come pick you up at this time. Hey, I'm gonna bring this. I don't want nobody in my life just telling me stuff just to be telling me stuff. Because why would you tell me that you're gonna bring me something and then never show up or never respond when I be like, hey, I'm about to go to sleep. Like, are you still coming? Or what was the point of that? And if I can't trust you to tell the truth about the smallest things, even the things that you have volunteered, I didn't even ask. Yeah, I don't want you in my life. If you lying about little, no, 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 no. Okay. And even in those situations, right, to the part about accountability, even in certain situations where it's like, okay, I know I said and I planned for this to happen, for me to come through, whatever, do this, do this, do this, but this happened and it's not gonna happen, right? The accountability to be like, my bad, I know I told you that, but let me just let you know, right? Because people who think like that, people who move in that way, that is their way of communicating to you that they truly value you. They value your time, they value your desires. They value, having a sense of a trustworthy connection with them, right? They value your trust in them to do whatever it is that they said that they were going to do, to show up how it is that they know they need to show up in your life. I need that. Okay. And number three, I want people who apply pressure, baby. Show me that you want me in your life. Okay. Show me that you want me in your world, right? I want you checking for me. I don't mess around with people who give mixed emotions. I don't mess around with people who have weird ass ego problems, right? To where they feel like showing emotion or letting a person know that you value them, right? It may not be so much about like, oh, I need you or my life won't go on without you. But no, I value you so much that I, treasure whatever time and energy that I have. And I want you to know that through what I say to you, through what I show you, through what I do for you. I want people to, have this understanding that I am here for them when I get done interacting with them, right? So those types of people, that's what I like. Again, any relationship, friend, family, romantic, work, like be consistent. Be consistent. Now, if you were able to tap into the relationship series that I posted, I think I started it about a month ago now. It was in January. But if you have seen those relationships, then you've heard me talk about, the different methods that I have used to manifest this type of lifestyle, right? Number one, um, all of those traits that I just spoke about, the confidence, the truth and accountability, and applying pressure, I released first and foremost everything and every person that was not giving that energy to me. Now, let me bring you into my world. There are stages to this, right? Let's go back to back when, right? When I had a lot of people around me, many more people than I have now at this moment, right? There was a mixture, right? There was very few people that showed up in all three of those ways in which I just discussed. Very, very few people. But it was like at that time, I was willing to tolerate people like, oh, you're only going to be this, or you're only going to do so much, or I have to feed you with a long handled spoon, right? Because you'll run out or you'll take advantage, right? I used to keep people like that in my life. But at that time, if I'm real about it, it was because I felt like I had to, right? I felt that, sense again of impossibility or limitation to believe that a person could show up and check all the boxes for me. Or even at minimum, a person could show up and reflect back to me all of the love that I've poured out into them, or the ways of affection, right, that I show to them through how I show up in their lives. I felt like, that's just me. Nobody gonna go as hard as I will, right? I accepted that as my truth and as my life. So because of that, people who were half stepping, people who were breadcrumbing me, people who were masking their true feelings felt comfortable enough to stay in my vicinity because I was allowing that. And I started to take that time for myself and just, like I said, begin to pour out and be like, that is an area of dissatisfaction in my world. Okay. If you go back to the most recent education moment that I, did for you guys, we talked about that in that video, addressing those areas where you are not satisfied, addressing those areas where it's just like, it's cool, but it could be better, And so for me, because I love people so dearly, because I even before I was ready to have the accountability to admit that certain people were not matching my energy, I just always had this vision that every good thing that I felt about each and every person in my life, they felt the same way about me. The way in which it was law for me to be like, no, I would never do this person wrong. I would never give them a reason to, question my trust, worthiness, to question my loyalty to them. Like I just knew. I just knew with my whole heart, y'all. Like that every person that I was connected to felt the same. And for the most part, it was because I was believing that even if you didn't come already built that way, right? That's not your hard wiring to be going hard for people like that. You would at least see me doing it for you and be like, you know what? I fucks with her. I appreciate what she's doing for me. Let me give her the same type of energy back, right? Let me match those vibes. But no, 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 no. Now, of course, there's a lesson that comes with every experience as such, and we'll talk about that in another video. But what I want to highlight today is that when I realized that that wasn't it, and I also realized that I had the power to change and seek something different, go a different space, you know, whatever it was, whatever adjustment that needed to be made. I could make that adjustment and then just as quickly be in alignment with those who are actually reflecting, right? All of this potential that I'm seeing in these other people. Oh, they could be this. I just got to be patient with them. I just got to, because the thing about it, again, how I showed up for people, it was a no-brainer for me. And once I cleared this, you know, energy of being willing to make excuses for people who would not show up in that way, who were choosing not to, you know, be that type of person for me too, or give that energy back to me. Once I stopped making excuses for them, then it was like, okay, step two, right? I started becoming what it is that I needed. Even more, I started embodying that. And true enough, I had already been embodying this to certain people. But once I cleared those people, once I cleared that energy out of my life, the only person I had to embody that energy to was me. I had to show up for myself relentlessly. I had to make promises to myself at the beginning of the day that I would do and be done with by the end of the day. And I had to keep those promises. I wasn't gonna be in the energy of like, oh, I'm finna start working out. I'm finna do this. I'm finna better myself. And 1 month later, still sitting on the couch. Your life is passing you by, right? Like, I had to stop being that person because yeah, I used to be a procrastinator, real bad. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Even so much so to where, you know, before I released those people out of my life, sometimes I would even sacrifice the things that I would say I would do for myself, the energy that I needed to pour into myself, to pour into others. I kept procrastinating on me. But when I switched, when it was time for step two, embody who you need to be, who you want to see, embody what you want in your life, I had to be faithful to me. I was very faithful to me, and I still am. I don't cheat on me. That's why you're not gonna cheat on me, okay? So now I'm in this energy, right? I've gone through this phase, right, to where there was nobody but me, God, and my ancestors and my spirit team. And I mean that quite literally, nobody. My journey was very different, and it may not be the same for you. For some of you, you will resonate. Like, people may not be able to fathom the idea of having nobody in your life. I'm talking about not like, you know, I got some people, but they just, you know, in and out. I mean, nobody. Okay. I've gone through that phase. The only test dummy that was available was me, for me to show up for me, for me to give myself things to, you know, stand in accountability for, to align myself right to with these laws that said that, okay, what I want is valid, what I want is possible. But if I don't do nothing else right, if I can't control how it comes into my life, when it comes into my life, I know that I can control my level of preparation for it. For sure can do that. And what does that look like, right? That looks like me saying no to people who show up half stepping in my life. from day one. Like you know how again we talked about in the other conversation, giving the benefit of the doubt creates a negative relationship with self. Because your discernment is always that weird feeling that you get when somebody says something or does something or moves a certain way. Those small moves that tell you all you need to know about a person's character and whether or not that's going to be something that, contradicts who you are and who you are becoming, or whether it's going to be a cohesive part of that. But your job and accountability to yourself was to be like, okay, once I peep that, if that is something that looks like the opposite of what I'm asking for, let me keep it pushing. Or let me hold the door for this energy to go ahead and turn around and go back the other direction in which it came from. But as we've also talked about, a lot of times people will give up. You feel like, either what you're asking for is too much. You're not acknowledging your true worthiness, your sense of worthiness to have things as good as you can see yourself having them. So you begin to settle for less, or again just go for those. It's almost that you 88%, but it's still a little, a little, I don't know. I didn't want that. So the accountability to myself to this day still says that if you show up in my world, again, giving me mixed signals, trying to breadcrumb me, trying to test me, that irks the hell out of me too. Even for a person to come in and be like, let me see how this person will react if I treat them wrong. What are we doing? Why are we even creating scenarios where you would be disrespectful to me? You can ask every single person who has come into my life and tried to do that how quickly they saw my hind part walking out the door. I don't play that. I don't. And it's only because every person that I have in my life, I want to love the hell out of you. And I want you to love the hell out of me too. That's how simple things should be to me. So the complexity of games, mind games, and mixed signals, baby, take me. Y'all know my saying, take me off the list. Please take me off the list. What I realized for myself is, right, and I really hope that if you're finding this video, you take some time to go through my library, right? Because a lot of these conversations, again, is cohesive. It's all the method to the madness, okay? So if one conversation will resonate with you, I promise you there will be other things that I've talked about that will resonate as well too. Okay? So one of the biggest realizations that I had, right, when I began to start my spiritual journey and truly change my life by way of standing on business, according to what I knew was best for me, is that being a person who has gone through a lot of abuse, I've talked about before how that is death to your nervous system. It truly is. And the rehabilitation process looks like you living a life where everything and everybody around you is stable, consistent, in one energy. Is not to say that people can't change or grow, right? Like, no. Even when I talk about these three base things that every person that comes into my life has to have, each person may come in expressing those three things in different ways. You are free to do that. I love you unconditionally and I accept you as who you are. You're free to do that. But as long as whatever you are exuding through your character, through your actions, through how you show up, is something that is making me feel comfortable, at ease, makes me feel like I can trust you, makes me feel like there is no ulterior motive. I just feel safe being in your presence, whatever it is. We good. We're good. But on the flip side of that, because I'm so adamant about knowing, right? And again, this is also I talked about one and two, but three for me, right? In the application of this in my current reality, I'm seeing the people that have showed up because I've stood firm on knowing that this is what I need in my life. The people who are in my life now, they don't leave me with questions. And let me say it like this, they don't leave me with questions that I cannot ask them and expect the truth. Mm-mm. People come to me and they say some of the same things that I have said to myself, like, okay, I want to be an open book. I'm a straightforward person. I'm going to always tell you the truth no matter what it is. It's never any intent to hurt you. And even if whatever I say to you or how I deliver it to you does hurt you for some reason, please know that you have the space to be honest with me and tell me that and give me the chance to correct it if that's what needs to be done. So because I have people who are coming in, it's like, yeah, I'm a straight shooter. You know, I don't want to play no games. You have to always be honest with me. Like, this is, I'm like, check, 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 check. You got it. And my mind is also relaxing in the confirmation of these type of people coming into my world because it's like, yeah, the work that you put in by embodying that energy, by standing on business and not allowing anything less than that, it has done nothing but create the reality of you having only that. Only people you can trust, only people that you feel safe around, only people who are really about you, applying that pressure. Even when it comes down to the dynamic of the conversation where I said I wanted confident people in my world, right? Let me tell you something. And again, this is me. This is about me. I did a lot of work. Everything that I talk to you guys about, that I give y'all to put y'all on game on how to do this, how to see yourself in this way, how to manifest this type of reality, I did it. I did it all, okay? And I did that shit so hard. I worked on my self confidence so hard. I manifested so hard for people to see me just as beautifully as I see myself, to see me just as amazing and as powerful as God has created me to be. To where if you go out with me, you have to be a confident person because you know what's going to happen. People are going to stop. They're going to stare. They're going to say things to me. If they don't come to me, they're going to be across the street yelling, blowing kisses. Some people will go so far as to come. They want to touch my arms like, bitch, you would think Beyonce walked through the building. I'm so serious. And if you're not a person that is confident in who you are, if you're not a person that's even confident enough to ignore that or to just feel that and not, or to see it, sorry, experience it and not feel a sense of like shame or be like, oh, why are they staring? I wouldn't advise you to go nowhere with me. Doesn't matter where I go. Doesn't matter what country I'm in. It does not matter. I have manifested so hard in this energy of self confidence, self power. I stand so steadily in my sense of confidence to where I cannot go any public place without stopping the motion of people around me. Now, I told y'all about this before, right? And when I first came out of that mode of just being in my solitude, I was in the defensive, like, what the fuck are y'all looking at? Like, is it this? Is it that? But then I had to remember like the things that I had been saying to myself. I had to remember the equation that says that however you want people to, view you or see you in your world, you have to do it yourself first. You have to see it yourself first. So if I've again been in this position for years that I've been telling myself, you're so worthy of this, you're so beautiful, everything about you is this. You can have whatever you like. You're worthy of that. Da 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 da. Fill in the blank, right? Then of course what you think this person gonna do. People come to me randomly just buying me things. Just here's a soda, a cold soda. I see the sweat glistening on your forehead as you walking down the street. Here, baby. And mind you, I ain't just walking down the street, like we might be at the market or something like that. But that's the energy. It doesn't matter what I wear, whether you see skin, whether you see my tattoos, or whether I'm walking around with my auntie dress on. It doesn't matter. But what I've noticed before, right, versus now, before when I was walking with people who they didn't even halfway like me, right? Or they weren't confident in themselves, they didn't like themselves, right? That type of energy would always cause like this negative reaction. People with me would be getting connected to other people that was not supposed to be in our energy, or they would be looking at me funny, almost like with a envious eye, you know. And it's just like, baby, cool it. Just chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to give none of that any attention. Just, it is what it is. Understand that you are beautiful. Of course, they're going to look at you. Understand your aura is the aura of a healer. Of course, they're going to be drawn to you. But the self confidence says that, okay, none of that matters if you are not coming into my life to add one or all, and not even one or all three of those things that we talked about at the very beginning. My confidence says that, of course, people will react in this way. But my truth and my self accountability says that it does not have to shift my day or shift my energy or how I'm moving. So, saying all this to say, my love, the consistency and accountability that is needed in order to manifest the life that you desire, in order to see yourself in the most beautiful reality according to your own sight and vision, your God given vision. The consistency of showing up for yourself is not optional. It's not optional. Even if you feel like, man, I feel like I've been trying that, I've been doing that, but no buts, honey. If it has not showed up yet, that means that you are still within divine timing to manifest those things. But hear me, it is not a sign for you to feel as though you are supposed to settle for less or come down off of whatever standard that you have set for yourself. No, 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 no. I cannot emphasize that enough. Addie, how do you do it? How do you get this? How have you manifested this piece? I was consistent, and to this day, still, as I've told you before, yes, the ways in which I manifest look a lot more fluid, and it looks less like me having to be every day da 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 like I was in the beginning. But honey, I will never negate that that was necessary. Never will. I will never negate that that sense of consistency to myself, going hard, going in every day, even if it was just, okay, at minimum, I'm going to say this 3 times a day. But I'm also going to hold myself accountable that if my mind starts slipping in between this saying and this saying, that I'm going to stop right there in that moment, and I'm going to pick up those words of truth and affirmation. I'm going to speak it and speak it and speak it until my whole nervous system relaxes, until my soul is absorbed and drenched in love and in truth and in everything that is beautiful and in everything that is conducive to me aligning and staying in alignment with what I know I deserve, who I know I deserve. So the Aadfedbea that you see now, the Aadfedbea that you may reference to other people and they say, oh, she don't play. Yeah, I was the one who was consistently reminding myself that it wasn't no need for me to be playing with people. If you want to love and I want to love too, why aren't we loving each other? All the complexities, all the fighting, all of the micromanaging of people, all of the underlying jealousy and hatred. Blech. No, I don't want it. That is a frequency I do not live abundantly in. That felt so nasty to me. That felt so wrong to me. And because I recognize and acknowledge, that people who move like that, or me just allowing myself to be in that type of relationship or energy, was so disgusting to me. At any point in time that somebody is trying to present me with a smidgen of that, if you even present me with something that triggers a feeling that I had when I was living that type of life, you can go ahead on about your business. You can. I can admit, I have admitted several times before as I've done my content and talked to you guys when I used to go live, right? I've admitted, like, I will ghost the hell out of anybody. I will. And most of the time it's because one or two things, right? Let me just be real about this. It's one or two things. Either number one, I am super, super very consciously aware that something that you have presented me early on in our connection is not going to be what flows with my energy. And because I'm not a person to waste time, energy, effort for anything or any reason, I'm just going to go ahead and end it right here. Again, I don't do the benefit of the doubt anymore. I don't be like, well, maybe it was just this. No, maybe it's just a red flag, sis, trying to tell you. And if one of your affirmations or one of your goals in life is to be like, okay, I want to get out of these cycles where I always end up heartbroken, or I always end up somebody, betraying me, or, you know, misusing my trust in them, then another piece to that puzzle of staying in alignment to avoid those energies is to be real about what feels like betrayal to you. Somebody showing you envious energy at the beginning of you guys' connection, or you trying to share good news with a person and they like, oh no, that's not gonna work, or oh, this is this. Oh, why are you wearing that? Oh, why? Girl, you can go ahead about your business. Because I did not come into this connection critiquing you 10 times out of 10, because I am who I am. And if you know me, you know this the truth. I'm complimenting you. I'm showing you love. I'm acknowledging you for who you are in positive ways. And even if I don't start the conversation with that, I also don't start the conversation with trying to tell you something is wrong with you, or to speak in any belittling manner to whatever it is that you have going on in your life. For what? And here's my number two reason that I might ghost you, okay? And now, say for instance, you've been in my life for a while, right? Every person that is in my life, I see you as an accountability partner to me, okay? So I expect you to keep me accountable for the things that you hear me say that I want to do or that I'm accomplishing. And most times you don't even have to because I've been, accountable to myself for so long that that's law for me. I'm not breaking that for nothing or nobody. And whether this is long-term goals that you see me, I told you years ago I was going to accomplish this at this time, or do this, or eventually I would have, or it's something new that comes about to where I'm saying like, hey, yeah, I want to do this, right? I'm locked in for myself. But please feel free. Feel free if at any point in time you see me slipping, whatever it is, clock me immediately, okay? But understand that I will do the same for you. I pour into my friends. I tell all my friends, I want to see you happy. Me and you can have a very, very open, transparent conversation about what that happiness looks like to you. And once we have established that, then me being the accountability partner to you and the good friend that I want to be, same thing. If I see you doing anything, if I see you moving in any motion that contradicts that, I'm going to tell you. Now, where the ghosting part comes in at is if you play in my face by way of knowing that you really don't want to be held accountable. And you keep lying to yourself and furthermore lying to me about certain things. Because my thing is, baby, if I'm invested in you, I'm invested in you. So anytime I spend talking to you, helping you, giving you advice, anytime I spend, even if I'm not talking directly to you, I'm talking to God on your behalf, I'm interceding for you. Anytime that I even, for some of my friends, I give them client treatment. I'm giving you activities and things to do because I truly want to help you. Energetically, I pour into my friends the same way as if you would go to your friend and say, hey, can I have some money, or this, I need help with this, can you, like, even in the physical things, the emotional things, the spiritual things, I show up for my people. So if at any point in time that you choose that you're not going to show up for yourself no more, please inform me, because I count it as a huge disrespect to all, again, the energy, time, effort that I put into trying to help you help yourself. And it's within your free will to say F it if you don't care enough to do it for yourself anymore. But baby, don't play with my time and energy like that. Don't play with my emotions like that. Don't have me out here getting happy and excited thinking my friend on the come up or finna do better or healing or, working on this. And the whole time you behind the scenes lying, you playing, you still doing whatever. Mm-mm. Guess what? You're not going to do that to me and stay in my life. No, you're not going to do it. I tell people all the time, you have one chance. You have one chance to do right by me. I don't even say you got one time to mess up and then da 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 da. No, I don't even hope you mess up. I haven't manifested people who mess over my energy. But the one thing that I hold as a true standard of accountability is that I value, first and foremost, I value you as a creation of God, even before knowing what our connection may be about. Just the fact that out of all of the millions and billions and trillions of people in this whole wide world, out of all of these people, I was connected to you. I was led to have a conversation with you. Think about the odds of that. And the true odds are that it wasn't for me to meet you and mistreat you, right? So I value, from the very first encounter that we have together, I value, I am mindful of how I treat you, how I approach you, how I accept and receive you. And because of that, I expect the same. Even when I think about the people that I hold on to for long term, I guarantee you that all of the people that you will see around me at any point, at whatever point you see me and meet me, this and this and this, whatever people you see me connected to, that person treated me right from day one. That person did not leave any room for questioning motives, questioning energy, none of that. Because if they did, they ain't here right now. Mm-mm. I come in vulnerable energy to every person. That is the way I come, asking what I want to know. I come letting you know that I am invested in getting to know what works for you, because that is how I love people. That is how I value people. But it is a pure reflection of how I want to be loved and valued. So again, speaking from that step 3 phase of now being in the energy to where I'm seeing it manifest in my world every day, I'm telling you what works. I'm telling you from my experience what works. And if you are connected to this message, if you've even made it to this part of the conversation, something about this method will work for you too. And it is time for you to apply, okay? So whether this is something that you need to do on your own, or you would like to reach out to me for a one-on-one to get some help, to get some instruction, to get some customized advice, intuitive advice based off of your particular situation, please email me, DM me, whatever, okay? I love you guys so much. I'm going to end the conversation here, and I'll definitely talk to you guys soon. Peace.